We still don't have a budget. Whose fault is that? Is that the party of no?
So you're saying that we are running country without a budget?
We do not have a budget. Every 2 weeks they keep extending it. Read the newspaper. We're going to extend it again just to get through January. And then we're going to have to raise the debt ceiling again because we don't have another budget. But meanwhile, we can send $80 billion over to Libya and $60 billion over to Egypt so they can have their Arab Spring. But we have Americans here who are sleeping in parks. Explain that to me.
Because we cannot get anything done there.
Get anything done? What's so hard about sending a food tray over out to the park? The people looking right at the White House are homeless, right there in the park. Go down there. They don't have anything to eat. Yeah, there are shelters. There are food banks. But why are these people homeless and without food when we're feeding people in Afghanistan, feeding people in Pakistan, feeding people in Egypt and Libya, Yemen?
Because you're Daddy Bush of...
Daddy Bush! Okay, let me tell you something. You can't say Daddy Bush anymore because there's a guy there named Obama who's been there for 3 years now. Okay? What has he done?
He's trying to fix it.
He's not fixing anything. He's dismantling things that protect us and putting his own left agenda in front of everything, including denying us the opportunity to get oil from one of our partners who's on our same continent that is friendly, which would be Canada. He won't even let that pipeline because he wants to study it more. The EPA has some concerns that they want to talk about. Now, even the labor unions are for this pipeline. Where's Obama? Well, we're going to wait on that until after the election in November. We need jobs now. Right now, we need jobs. That's a minimum of 50,000 jobs right there, instantly.
We want to make sure that it doesn't hurt our environment.
We've already done that in that study. Do you think that they would have put this on the books if they hadn't already done this? They know what the EPA is all about. It's a leftist, bureaucratic agency that's for anything that will not allow Americans to actually become domestic free, or should I say use our own domestic oil, meaning what's on the North American what's on our North American continent, which would be from Canada. We would get our oil from Canada. And it would connect to the pipeline up in Alaska. That's what they're really afraid of. They don't want us to get the oil from Alaska because, we may actually kill one polar bear. Well, I'm sorry, one polar bear. Not that I'm not insensitive to the polar bears, but...
It's not one polar bear, it's the whole polar bear species.
Oh, come on! This pipeline's not going to destroy the whole species.
It is, this pollution just keeps increasing and increasing.
How is a pipeline pollution? I don't get it. How is it pollution?
Because
it's a pipe. It's not emitting any gases. It's not emitting any smoke.
It was just a drill that caused all that disaster in Louisiana.
Well, but those things happen all the time.
We have to make sure, because in the past we have not made sure that
it's a pipeline. It's not a drill. It's a pipe.
Pipelines have made a lot of issues in the past too.
Well, then you know what? We hire people and let them go to work to do their job and check the pipeline to make sure that it's running properly.
Absolutely.
But until it's built, we're not going to know. Why can't we build a pipeline? He wants to create jobs. Now the labor unions are even saying we should build a pipeline. And he goes, well, no, we have to let the EPA do some more studying. Come on.
Let EPA do his job. What's wrong with that?
EPA is doing more than their job. They basically shut down projects because of some little mineral that's found everywhere else in the world, and it just happens to be in a little creek. It's a mineral.
See, the thing is that corporations always say, oh, I remember when they were putting all these drills in Pacific, they were saying, oh, these technologies are completely safe.
There's no such thing as anything safe. There's no such thing as not having a risk.
So they will always say
that's a fallacy. You and I both know that's not true.
Of course, that's a fallacy. That's why we have to be sure.
But you can be sure of nothing except for death and taxes. That's it. That's the only thing you can be sure of. You're going to die, and if you live in this country, you're going to pay taxes.
And when disasters happen, they cost even more money.
Okay.
A lot more money, like the Louisiana disaster.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's fixed now. Of course, the devastation could go on for years. No one really knows, nor will they tell us the honest truth about it.
People's lives were ruined, the businesses were ruined, the country's economy was ruined.
Yeah.
And you think that was some small thing?
I don't think it's a small thing. I think you go to BP and you take the money from BP. You take it from the corporation that committed the crime. This is my philosophy. If you were the corporation that broke the law and you were negligent, you are responsible. That's what the law is all about. But not doing something because we don't know what may happen, it's not a reason not to do things. We need jobs in this country. We need to have our own oil and not import from the Middle East. You know, we need to do this. The labor unions even agree with this.
Okay, the thing is that if you are just in the favor of creating jobs, then why can't we legalize prostitution? Why can't we?
Do you think that's drugs? Is that going to spur the economy?
It's going to spur this.
Come on, there are enough prostitutes or drug guys in the world to spur the economy.
Of course, they are all joining gangs. They are all contracting diseases.
And you know what? In the countries where there is free prostitution and there is, should I say, legalized prostitution and legal drugs, they still have a black market for both of them. The slave trade exists. I mean, you go to Japan. Japan has legalized. You can go to Japan and sit in any bar and get any drug you want. And you know what? They still have a black market demand for it. You can go in there and buy any kind of girl you want. That's a prostitution. And you know what? They still have a black market demand for it. So I don't think that takes the element out of that type of behavior.
Do we have a black market for alcohol now?
Yeah, you still got people selling moonshine illegally. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You still have that.
We used to have huge gangs in New York and Chicago and all those.
Well, is that how the Kennedys got their money? Grandpa Kennedy was a bootlegger of alcohol in the Irish mob. Okay. The royal family of America.
Because the law created those gangs. You know?
Well, don't you think they wanted to create that so they could have a way to generate some kind of wealth when the economy's in the crapper?
That's why they won't legalize the drugs and prostitution right now, because they want to keep creating this.
You are sounding more and more like a libertarian than you are a Democrat. This is supposed to be about Democrats and Republicans, and you're putting your libertarian views in here, which does not make any sense at all.
I don't have a label, you know. I am myself.
Well, you're talking like a libertarian when you're talking about legalizing drugs and prostitution. I mean, the Democrats don't even want that yet.
I want that. Okay.
You want that? Okay, so I guess
I think we are over the time.
That was funny. We should get some drugs and some prostitutes. Let's go get one.
It was much better than before, I tell you.
That is hilarious to me. He's like, well, I want that.
Okay, then we're going to turn it off.
And cut.
I think what we should probably discuss is who would be the better president, the incumbent, Obama, or the challenger, who at this moment is the challenger in the Republican Party and is leading all the polls, Newt Gingrich. Who do you think would be the best?
I think Obama will be the best.
Because of what?
Because Obama has a wider and more comprehensive view of the economy and the social life.
Oh my God, he's smoking crack. You know what? I think you got a hold of some of those free drugs we were talking about before. Is there a prostitute in the closet? I just want to know, because this is like a Marion Barry thing all over again here.
No, those things are illegal so far, so they are not in the closet yet.
Okay. Wow. He has a better, what did you say he had about the economy?
A more comprehensive view.
He has a comprehensive view of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And how many jobs have been lost since he's been in office?
Jobs have been recovered, actually.
No. I didn't ask you how many were recovered. I said how many have been lost.
There's no net loss, there's net gain.
When he first came into office, there is no net gain. You cannot say that, because the unemployment rate is not below 7%.
Unemployment rate.
When he took office, what was unemployment?
Unemployment rate was at one point was all hitting 11%.
But what was it when he took office?
But that was already happening. I mean, why are you?
You're not answering my question. What was it when he took office?
When he took office, it was, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was around 9 point some percent.
I think it was less than 9. It was 8 point something, if I'm not mistaken. And in the 3 years that he has been in office, excluding the last numbers that just came out, what did it peak at?
It at one point it hit 11. So it
was like 10.9, wasn't it?
Almost 11%.
And up until a month ago, it was still at 9.2, and then I think the latest numbers were what, 8.6.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get a net gain when you started at the same point? If anything, maybe now you are balanced.
No, the thing is that if you don't have a recent memory loss, I think you should remember that that economy, the whole world's economy was like.
I'm not talking about the whole world. I'm talking about America's unemployment. I don't want to hear about the world. I already know the world's in the crapper. It's still in the crapper.
America's economy was totally messed up, and the banks were failing.
I don't want to hear. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about specifically unemployment. I don't want to hear about the banks. I don't want to hear about Europe. We already know those problems are actually getting worse. Let's talk about unemployment under Obama, because he has a comprehensive view of the economy.
Yeah, he stopped that crisis, which put brakes on it, which was just under the goose, just kept getting worse and worse and worse for 8 years.
What?
Of course, it would.
What?
It did.
Oh my! Wait a minute. I'm like, I almost need a drink. I wish you had alcohol here. I don't even drink alcohol. But anyway, you're telling me that he put the brakes on a falling economy when unemployment actually peaked under him at close to 11%. And it is now relatively coming down. But also, these numbers aren't really true because we have a lot of hiring because of the Christmas season. So we'll say 8.9. How is that a net gain when you are almost right where you were when you started?
But I give him credit because he stopped that
How
process.
Did he stop it?
Which Bush was
How
unable to
did
stop.
he stop the process?
He stopped the process with his policies.
Which were what? Give me some specifics because I'm having a hard time digesting this. Just give me one. Are you going to tell me TARP saved the economy? Are you going to tell me the stimulus packages saved the economy?
Well, you know
I mean, because we're only talking about unemployment. We're talking about his view on domestic policy that's affected our economy positively. So just give me one. Just one thing.
The positive effects are that, you know, we are not losing jobs anymore.
Yes, we are.
No, we are not.
Did you not hear what the post office is getting ready to do? They're getting ready to lay off 100,000 people.
There are companies that are still.
Did you hear what Citibank's getting ready to do? Another 5,000 people. These are one of them is a corporate job, and one of them is a kind of a quasi-corporate, quasi-public. But I haven't seen any major hiring. I mean, I'll take that back. Home Depot said they would hire 50,000 seasonal workers. So come January 1st, that's the end of the season.
William, if you do not realize it, you shouldn't remember. The fact is that the big businesses and government are not the major source of the jobs. You know, you would hear in the news.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Small businesses.
You're right.
Small businesses are actually now hiring people, and people are not losing jobs as they were. There are some companies, some businesses that are still maybe laying off people, but overall it's on the positive side. Right. An economy that was in recession is not in recession anymore.
This economy is we are in recession still. We have not come out of the recession. Housing is still in the toilet. Private jobs being created it's not flourishing. I mean, I have a small business, you have a small business. Have you hired anybody?
I haven't hired anybody.
That was the question. And ask me if I've hired anybody.
Have you hired anybody?
No. And why haven't I hired anybody? Because my personal economy is not turning around. I'm scared because I don't know what my taxes are going to be next year, because they can't seem to pass anything in the wonderfully leadership of our great leader, your Obama, my Obama, our president. I don't see it.
God accused you accept.
No, I have to accept him as my president, whether I voted for him or not, because I'm an American and I believe in America. Now, his leadership style and his lack of leadership, I don't agree with. But I will say this: he's still my president. Okay. Aside from that, he don't know what he's doing. He knows how to go all over the world. That's about it.
Okay, I think it's 7 minutes.